Surely the true religion with Allah is Islam. The Holy Prophet of Islam lived in Mecca for 13 years. During these years, he was under the persecution of the polytheists. In Mecca, there was an attempt to assassinate him which failed by God's will. However, he escaped to Mecca before they get to assassinate him. In Medina, the Prophet, peace be upon him, formed a government. Back then, the majority of the people in Medina were polytheists. They were either Christians or Jews, but the majority consisted of Jews. The Holy Quran describes the Jews as possessing usual anti-Islam feelings as it reveals. Strongest among men in enmity to the believers will you find the Jews. The Holy Quran has mentioned this verse, and of course, the Jews back then have heard it, but the real deal is what convinced them to accept Islam. It has been narrated that the Holy Prophet had said, if a person dies and leaves some wealth behind, it belongs to the heirs. On the other hand, if a person dies and some debt or a family to be looked after, then it's my responsibility as the head of the Islamic State to pay off their debts and to look after their families. This is an unprecedented practice for the head of a state to look after the deceased person's children, widow, and pay off his debts. Thus, if a rich person has left some money, then all of their money belongs to the inheritors without any government taxes on it. All historians have recorded that when the Holy Prophet said the sentence, he truly and completely lived up to his word and practiced it across the entire Islamic world. Before the advent of Islam, people in Mecca and around it had to pay the taxes on inherited money. The law of paying off the deceased person's debt or looking after his widow and children, or the financial tax exemption on the inherited money, and other Islamic laws contributed to the conversion of the Jews to Islam. The Jews that were living inside Medina and those who were living outside all decided to convert to Islam because of the attractive laws. Maybe the sole reason for their conversion was the financial reason back then, but for sure, the children of the Jews remained the followers of Islam. If we look back in history, we can find that the children of the newly converted Jews had turned out to be fine Muslim scholars and religious authorities. This was just one of the Islamic financial fair practices in the Islamic world. We have two important subjects in Islam, one of which is safety, and the second is the financial stability. If these two matters are obtained, the world will be brought to joy and happiness. I also have noticed that some countries around the globe have some kind of financial security laws, but they are not either as extensive as in Islam or are limited with many restrictions. These financial laws are not substantial like the Islamic financial supporting laws. Where in the world can we find a government or the head of a state taking care of all financial concerns before or even after one's death to look after one's children, wife, and not having any financial taxes on inherited money? Where can you find such financial security? Islamic financial security after one person's death includes these instructions. Inherited money should not be taxed. The debt of the deceased, be it any kind, should be paid off by the estate, and finally the children, widow, and all who lived under the supervision of the deceased should be taken care of and supported. Imam Sadiq, Imam Baqir, and other Shia Imams, peace be upon them, have narrated, the leader of the Muslim community is responsible to pay off the debt of the deceased person, be it a man or a woman, to support the person's dependents. Otherwise, this Muslim leader is held accountable before God in the Day of Judgment.